Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is episode number 1. And for the it's tiny, but also very large amount of people that will listen to these other episodes that I did in the past that are gone now, you guys are part of a very elite crew. And I'm really sorry for you if you're listening right now and you didn't get to hear those because oh boy, it was me trying all this experimental shit, all this next level fucking stuff, and just knocking it out of the ballpark and just having things go so smoothly and so well and really make sense. And that's the opposite of the attitude that I was intending to go into this with. I was coming in to be very real and very humble and very nice and say, hey, thanks if you're listening for this. And if you're listening for me, don't listen for me, listen for you. But if you're listening to this and you're listening to do it for yourself, thank yourself and thank me for doing this. And I want to thank you for listening. And I want to say that everything is really cool and everything is really nice and everything is going to be just fine and everything's going to be all right. And I'm just going to freaking go. I'm just going to freaking go to this beat and I'm just going to live my life and I'm just going to do my thing and I'm just going to chill. And you can too. And welcome to the chill zone where this music is really making me not want to chill and making me want to freaking bump. But I don't think that we can bump right now because there was an earthquake a couple days ago and it gave me a real bump and it gave me a real jolt and it gave me a real jitter. And since then I've had kind of a kink in my spine and I don't really feel like dancing. I just feel like chilling and talking and saying, hey, thank you for listening. If you're still listening now, even, thank you again. And I also want to say that if you're listening and you think this show is like I'm saying, listen, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you appreciating me. But if you don't appreciate me, then I appreciate you getting the fuck out and staying away from me for a couple days and maybe 3 nights. Long nights, the kind where you really take time to just process who you are for that day and for your whole life. And then when you come back, maybe everything's different and maybe I'm talking like this right now. And then nobody knows what's happening. And that's kind of the point. And that's the point of this show. If you want to know what it is, it's being the best kind of show that it can be, and it's doing its very best. Okay? It's doing its best and it's making it fun. It's making it fun, and I don't care if you are crying right now and you're being so serious. Oh, I can see you now listening to this show, just crying, and I gotta assume it's probably a good cry. It's probably an emotional release like I had all day today in the fucking heat that was unbelievable. I looked in the mirror, not a mirror, but the mirror, which by that I mean a different reflection in a window. That's not a mirror. And I look at myself, I say, holy fucking shit. Your face is as red as a beet. And I look at my watch and I say, holy shit, where's my watch go? I don't have one. I haven't had a watch in years. So then I look at my phone and I look at the temperature and I think, wow, it's hot. It's hot. And I'm sorry to talk about the weather, but it's hot. Okay? And I think that whenever the weather's hot or cold or like super cold or super hot or kind of just like room temperature or like if it rains a little bit or if it's kind of cloudy on a day, I just think like if there's any like really extenuating circumstances, like if it's like you wake up and it's like, holy shit, like there's a little bit of wind or something, that it's worth talking about, even though it is just the stereotypical weather speech. It really is something that's pretty crazy. Fuck me, am I right? So that's just the little first part of the show, and the second part of the show is gonna be something that goes like this. Hey, my name is Ricky Mang, and if you wanna come down to my place, on the weekend, me and my friends, we bought some hogs off a guy at the old casino, back in, December, and, they're finally ready to be roasted up. And if you want to come by, we'd love to have you. I know you're new to the neighborhood, but it seems that you're kind of looking like you need some meat on your bones because you're so thin and in shape. You're so, and of course they're talking to me. They're saying, "Oh wow, you're so thin but in shape, and like wow, you look so good, and you're attractive to me. So why don't you please come to this barbecue?" And I say, the morality of eating meat at this point for me is pretty clear cut. I eat meat, but I'm very, very not interested in being around a place where an animal gets killed. The other day I was walking around the city at night and I walked by the grocery store. And this is kind of a medium grocery store, which is like in between a health grocery and a shitty grocery. And I was hearing this screeching sound coming from the back place of the grocery on the outside. And am I telling this story well? Am I doing a good job telling this story? Am I keeping the energy up and kind of keeping it moving and keeping it going? Thank you. Oh, I am? Yeah, okay, thank you. So anyway, where was I? I'm just kidding. I'm at the grocery store. Walking by late at night, and I hear these chickens getting slaughtered. Is really the only conclusion that I could come to, and it was a very chilling thing. And speaking of crying, it did make me want to cry, and I did shed a nary tear or two, but it wasn't a full blown, heat wave moniker. Period. That makes sense. Anyway, that was my little neighbor, Ricky, last name, and he's a real guy that I actually met, and he actually said that to me, and that's a fake story. And that's that, and that's just the way it goes. And another real fake, true, real story, and this one's real, is that it is hot today still. And hey, it's evening. It's full blown. And it's hot. And I'm just sitting here in my pad, fucking sweating my balls off in the heat, looking out on people not really walking around. There's not really anyone around. And I'm kind of looking at dogs and deer and stuff like not really being there. And I'm kind of looking at cars, but they're actually not really cars. They're kind of gone. So yeah, this is awkward, but I'm really just kind of looking at an open field and a general expanse of this great green earth. Or is it red because it's so hot? Hello? I'm asking you a question. Is Earth red now because it's so hot? Is the water going to boil in the ocean even though it's salt? Are the fishes going to become a new species and come out of the water because it's boiling so much? And we're going to have to deal with some of these fish guys talking to us and trying to get into the clubs and bars and freaking steal all the chicks? Because I'm telling you what, man, if a big fucking eel comes in here and tries to steal the chicks because the eel gets off on this whole thing of like, oh yeah, I can make, put it up all the way. Put my whole body inside you. This is the freaking eel is going to take over the thing. I'm going to have no game. Man, I can't compete with an eel. When I go to a club and I go to of course, hit on all these girls, I go and what I do is just I go stand there, and I don't know what to do, And then once every couple years, a girl comes to me. But this eel going in there and all the girls looking at him, on everyone can only just imagine that the eel's just a big penis. And the eel knows it. And he's wearing like this little like British army cap kind of thing, but he painted it pink. And he's got a little strap under his chin, and he's cute, and he's got a little mustache made out of seaweed that he's like sewn into his skin. And he's like, hey girls, why don't you eat me with your vagina instead of me eating you out? Maybe you eat me in. And the girls are so horny. And the eel fucks them. The eel fucks them. All of them. And there's none for me because I'm gone. I'm too sensitive to be at the club for very long. But I don't know. I think all we can do is just pray and douse ourselves with ice cubes, because as you know, as so within as without. And I think the best way, honestly, and to be real, and to, wow, man, it's amazing when I'm just in a room and I hear music just freaking blows out of the water. Why? Who cares about talking? You can just listen to cool tunes. But the real thing that I'm saying is the best way to combat global warming, as we all know, as within, so without, is to freaking keep yourself cool, girl. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guy. You're trying to be so hot, but why not be cool? That's all we need right now. We need chillness, and we need cool temps. And we need guys and girls and aliens and seals and eels and seaweed and weed. We need weed heads. To be honest, the weed heads these days are getting out of control. They're not even talking about weed anymore, okay? They're so high strung. All they can do is talk about how chill they are and how cool they are and how chill everything is. That's not true. I don't know. I'm in a weird spot. I don't know if that's actually true, because people are chill and people are anxious whether they smoke weed or not. You know, I think, I don't know if there's like a Venn diagram of overlap. If there was a Venn diagram, I don't know if it would overlap between the correlation of weed smokers or people who would, that's not the best way to say that. I want to say people who smoke weed. Everything just comes down to whether you identify as inside of it or whether you identify as it being a piece of you. And wow. Isn't that true? It's been 13 minutes of me just talking to myself. And I gotta keep going. I think I gotta make this shit be an hour long. But boy, oh boy, I've got a massive, super subtle, super nice feeling, but a little bit mean feeling headache. And I really kind of feel like things are winding down, things are slowing down. I haven't really opened my eyes in like a couple of hours. And to be honest, I was so hot today that like everything in my vision was blurry and making full rainbow colors for me. It was like I was wearing one of those cheap Christmas 3D-ish paper glasses that make everything look like a Christmas tree or a wreath or an angel or something nice. Oh my God, please. Christmas is the heat of the winter, and that's why I hate it. Christmas is the hottest day in the winter. Every year. Ask any economist is what I mean. It's the freaking best day for all those marketing motherfuckers. No one can successfully hate on Christmas, really. If you show me someone, this is a great point. I got a phone number for this show. If you want to call it and weigh in and prove to me that people can successfully hate on Christmas, be my guest. It's not going to happen because no one can do it. And if you successfully prove to me, and I need like a real proof, no funny business, actual proof, and other things that help me stall for time while I pull up the phone number for the show. If you want to call the show for this reason, please do. And in the future, this is for future reference, put this shit in your contacts. The phone number is 323 page loading, page loading, page loading, page loading, page loading, loading page. Page loading, loading page, loading page, loading page, loading page, loading page. Colin, why don't you memorize the name of your own show? I got a lot of shit on my mind, okay? I'm making the 7 phone numbers this week. I got so many projects. I got so many identities that I need to make a phone number for and be a separate person completely. This brings me to a good story that I can tell. I'm trying to load my website to say the phone number on the show, and it's like literally loaded the page up until the point right before the phone number is visible, and now it's just stuck and not loading at all. But I tried to buy a bike on Craigslist the other day, and the guy called me, and I don't know if I necessarily want to get into the details of the call itself fully because there's a lot to unpack there on both of our sides. But this guy, like, he said, let me give you my phone number so that you can call me after he gave me the address. He said, let me give you my phone number so you can call me if you get stuck or if you get lost or if you don't know where to go. And I said, okay, what is it? Thinking to myself, I don't have to remember this phone number. I'm just going to call back I'm just going to call him back. He's going to give me the phone number that he is calling from. But was I wrong? Yes. And should I have maybe been forewarned by the fact that he was so adamant about giving me a phone number? Maybe. But did I feel like I was able to communicate to him in a way that made sense at all based on the timing and the vocabulary and the vocal intonations of which he was speaking? No. But I had to take a bus all the way across town to try and buy this bike. And I go to the address, and man, this house was crazy. It was like, it looked like it had just been built kind of scrap by scrap in a way that was really cool, but also in the context of me just like showing up on the street and seeing like huge hedges and like fences on both sides of the street with painted on things saying UPS, throw your package over the door, and like a lot of security camera signs and shit. It made me a little bit wary. This story is it has no end. And I'm going to end it now and say, call the show, 323-285-3795. Call the show, 323-285-3795. Call 2 show 3. Call 2 the 8 show 5. Call 3 the 7 show 9. Call 5 323-285-3795. And also, I just want to say you can call the show if you want to. It's 323-285-3795. And you can email the show at formlessnesspod@gmail.com. Talk to me. Tell me anything at this point. I mean, I don't know. These are just the means of communication for this show et al. Does that make sense? I don't really know what that means fully. Anyway, speaking of phone numbers, I am going to call a phone number myself and see if we can talk to someone here. Wow, that's a lot of noise coming through. I wish you guys probably won't even be able to hear this because of the compression when this full show comes out. But there's a little bit of noise over on the old iPhone input. Is this interesting and do you care? No. What I'm going to do, of course, is pick a number between 1 and 385, and I'm going to pick 282. And I'm going to go to that number in my contacts, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to call the number of the person that it is, which is obviously going to be someone that I have never talked to in years and that I don't want to talk to. And I also can't count to 285 right now because it's going to take too long. So I'm going to do what I always do, which is put in a random number. And it's going to be this one. Boop, bop, bop, doo, 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 doo.
Number has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again.
So that was worth it. That was a whole adventure. What a great prank phone call. Was the prank on the caller's end? Was the prank on the listener's end? Or was the prank on me? Find out next week. Thanks. Bye.